in my experience and also working with people with big followings, there's only so much money in having big followings. Um, if you work for it, like having a big following doesn't just give you money.
Mhm.
Believe me, like there's people with a big fucking followings who are not making that much money,
Yeah,
and you think that they're millionaires and they're not. It's kind of like what you do with the following.
sure.
You've got to sell yourself. You've got to make LUTs or whatever it is. You got to sell products and things like that, and that could give you, that can make you money. But even brands, it seems like when I was doing all this stuff, a lot of brands were funneling money into social media marketing, and these influencers were making a lot of money from these brands. It seems like that's kind of cooled off, and I don't. It could possibly be the quarantine as well. Like a
Probably.
lot of brands are kind of, I think, are toning back how much money they're spending on marketing right now, just because this whole Corona thing. But
Right.
it did feel like before the Corona thing that less money was being pumped into. Also, there's just so many influencers now. There's just so much
Yes.
competition. Say, an influencer like myself will say, like, I'm not going to post on my page for less than this number.
Right.
And the brand is like, well, we can get someone with less following, to do two posts, and they'll do it for less money, because there's so many people who are coming up who want to be like influencers. So like everyone's kind of undercutting everyone,
Right.
and
The
everyone at the
marketing mix
top
is
is
bad.
is suffering, and everyone's kind of suffering. So chasing the following number, I think, can be dangerous if you think it's going to bring you millions and millions of dollars. I think you can make plenty of money with having a solid following, but being more entrepreneurial than
Right.
some of these big followers.
And of course
Um,
having the good content as well. Like I'm sure that any good marketer is going to have some sort of a system in which they're kind of weighing, sort of like, okay, well, this person has X amount, that's going to give us this much reach. However, this person that has half of that amount, like, damn, like, they make great stuff, or whatever
yeah,
whatever the case may be. I
yeah.
also wonder, like, in addition to what you were saying about kind of the competition there, is it possible that, like, this sort of the fact that it's become a bit cliche, like, is it just kind of, how, like, trends are so cyclical and they always seem
Mhm.
to kind of live and die and then eventually it becomes something else, and I wonder if, like, as people, like, just the average person, scrolling or whatever, is sort of more and more aware of, like, trends, and they sort of know what to expect, and they kind of, you just get inundated with a certain type of shit. Do smart companies maybe start, like, deviating away from that strategy just because they're like, this feels like a
Cliche.
recycled idea, it feels cliche? Yeah.
I I don't have an answer for you. I do think it's likely. I think it's likely because it almost feels that way to me. Like sometimes, how I was mentioning earlier, when Sam Colder was blowing up and everyone was making these like Sam Colder like lookalike videos, it felt like the thing to do then. And now I look back at it and I'm like, dude, like be your own person. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like it's a cliche like you're saying. So it's definitely possible that brands are looking at social media marketing in that way more now than ever. But I mean, it's still work. My girlfriend's works this way. She has contracts and stuff like that, and she's making money. And it's not like it's completely gone away or something like that, where everyone's just like suffering. There's no money to be made and having a following anymore. Like,
No, no, of course not.
yeah, like everything's fine. I just think, yeah, it's definitely possible though that some brands are steering away from it more now than back then. But there's
Yeah.
still so many brands that are in the industry that I don't think it's causing that much of a problem yet. You
Right.
know.